This video is presented for promoting healthy living, including healthy working. Oftentimes, we get so busy with our lives that our own fitness and well being goals take a backseat, as has happened with me for most of my life. Sometimes, all that it takes is a gentle push and some external and internal motivation to get back on track. This video is a small attempt to provide that gentle push. I will demonstrate some common yogasanas, including Surya Namaskara. I have tried to emphasize on key do's and don'ts that one needs to take care of while practicing asanas. Some may think that yoga is not for them because of certain challenges in the body. You will be surprised to note that there are some simple solutions to those hurdles as well. Let me give you the example of my own yoga teacher, Parth Parikh. He had migraine and he had serious ligament tear in the knee. From not being able to sit on the ground to now comfortably performing Padmasana is his journey filled with taking many small steps to regain his health. Later in the video, I talk about how ancient Indian science of Ayurveda could be used to correct imbalances in your body and make your body more flexible and healthier, thereby enabling you to practice yoga with more rigor. Lack of time comes in the way of exercising regularly. Interestingly, I have adopted some tweaks over recent months that have helped me do my work and yoga simultaneously. Later, I have shared a few things about the very popular Dikshit diet propagated by Dr. Jagannath Dikshit. This diet has helped a vast number of people to regain health, and many have even reversed their diabetes through this diet, as outlined by Dr. Jagannath Dikshit. You may want to give it a try if the diet resonates well with you. Jalaneti is another powerful ancient Indian technique that takes very little time but has immense health benefits. We have demonstrated that technique as well. Lastly, I have made a small appeal to corporate leaders and youngsters. Do listen to the same and please try and incorporate it. We have tried to crunch all of this in the lowest possible time. We urge you to try and watch the video to the fullest, as we have tried to package some very interesting health tips in this video.
Thank you. Surya Namaskara for 15 to 20 minutes by itself is a complete exercise. Alternatively, one can even practice for 15-20 minutes every day some of the asanas beyond Surya Namaskara demonstrated later in this video. You can practice Surya Namaskara on one day and asanas the other day. A completely different approach would be to only focus on those asanas which help in strengthening organs which are your weak areas. For example, some people may have issues related to digestion or bones or lower back, or one may have a family history of kidney ailments, in which case one can focus on asanas which help in strengthening those specific organs or systems. It is advisable to start your yoga practice under the guidance of a qualified teacher. I will shortly demonstrate Surya Namaskara with my teacher Parth Parikh. Before that, I will demonstrate some warm-up exercises which are mandatory before you start your regular yoga exercises.
we have demonstrated two different positions for position 3. One is for regular people and the other is for people with backache, as they need to avoid forward bending positions. With one leg between the hands, take the other leg behind with toes completely stretched. This is position 4. Straighten your toe before going to the fifth position. Ladies may go for Panchang Namaskar to avoid pressure on chest. Heel should touch the ground, feet should be straight and knees should be straight too. Positions 9 to 12 are repetitions of positions 4 to 1 in reverse order. Hold each of the positions for a minimum of 10 seconds and over months of practice, increase it to 60 seconds. By holding a position longer, we ensure that the blood flows to the intended parts of the body, thereby providing nutrition and strengthening those parts. Would like to share with you some pictures that record my own journey of serious struggle and eventual improvement. Back in 2016 and before, I couldn't even sit in Sukhasana. So, what changed from then to now? Firstly, I enrolled for yoga classes with Parth Parikh in September 2016, who is the founder of Prachin Bharatiya Yoga. I was definitely a very weak student in a class of 6 students and couldn't perform most of the asanas. With classes of 3 days a week, there were improvements over 3 months of yoga practice. Then miracle followed. I had a chance meeting with Dr. Smita Naram in November. She is the founder of Ayushakti chain of clinics. She felt my pulse for a minute and cited all the imbalances in my body and the resulting health issues that I was facing. She advised me about the foods that are incompatible with my body and about foods that are compatible. She also recommended an Ayurveda detox. After the detox and after making the simple diet changes recommended by her, magically my weight started reducing by 2 to 3 kgs every month and my health issues reduced drastically. Body flexibility got enhanced as well. So, if you want to address some of your health issues or negative signals, I would urge you to consider consulting a good Ayurveda doctor and take measures to reduce imbalances in your body. According to Ayurveda, most of the serious health issues that people face is a result of accumulated imbalances in the body. So, if these are addressed early, then one can avoid serious health problems. I will now demonstrate some yogasanas which one can practice. Left knee is bent up to ankle. Right knee should be kept straight and the right foot should be flat on the ground. Left foot should be in straight line with the middle of the right foot. Repeat for the other leg as well. Same instructions are applicable for Virabhadrasana too as well. Make sure the elbows and the back are straight and not bent. People with knee pain should avoid this and Malasana or do it under the guidance of a teacher. Push your knees out with your elbows with heels touching the ground. This is my small attempt to do Bakasana. For complex asanas such as this, always consult an expert. People with knee pain or a hernia or vertigo should not practice Ushtrasana. In the next, Shalabhasana, one may experience difficulty in breathing, which is natural. Also, knee should be straight and not bent in Shalabhasana. It is very important to hold the asanas for as long as one can to reap maximum benefits. The next, Sarvangasana, is known as the queen of asanas as it has immense benefits. This should not be practiced by women during periods. Neck needs to be relaxed and weight should be on the elbows during Sarvangasana. Like Sarvangasana, the neck should be very relaxed in Halasana. In the next, Baddha Konasana, the knees should touch the ground, and you will notice that I have not been able to do this asana properly. Indian cobblers rarely get kidney and prostate problems as they sit in this asana for a long time. Right way of doing this has been shown by Nakul. Try and take Sukhasana while drinking water or eating food as it aids digestion. This asana should be preferred over sitting on a chair. In Vajrasana, shoulders should be relaxed. Spine becomes automatically straight. Vajrasana and Virasana are two asanas which can be performed right after eating your meal as well. Siddhasana is preferred by yogis to meditate for a long duration. It is useful in increasing concentration. Students will benefit if they study sitting in Siddhasana. Padmasana is a level higher than Siddhasana and has even more benefits.
I would like to now talk about Dikshit diet very briefly. This diet is to be followed after expert consultation as it may suit some people and may not suit others. This is an old Indian practice as well, which is popularized by Dr. Jagannath Dikshit. So what this diet essentially involves is that one has to eat only twice a day, and that too in a window of 8 hours. Each of the food intake should not exceed 55 minutes, and one has to fast for the remaining 16 hours. When one starts this diet, one can keep the eating window longer than 8 hours, say 12 hours, and fasting window can be 12 hours. So eventually, as you get more comfortable, you can reduce the eating window from 12 hours to 8 hours. In fact, those who are interested to understand this in great depth should watch Dr. Dikshit's video on YouTube. This is a 50 plus minutes video where he has delivered a lecture in Mysore. In that video, Dr. Dikshit in fact mentions that a lot of people have reversed their diabetes by following this diet. It has personally helped me immensely in bringing a lot of discipline in how much I eat and how well I eat. So in terms of the overall discipline, in terms of consuming food.
Now I would like to talk about Jalaneti. This is an ancient Indian technique of cleaning one's nasal passages. It enhances alertness and respiratory health. This can be accompanied with salt water gargling. One can especially practice this when one has mingled with people and has not been able to maintain physical distancing. My teacher, Parth Parikh, will now demonstrate Jalaneti and saltwater gargling. Use lukewarm salt water in the Jalaneti pot. Sit down and insert the pot as shown. Now tilt your neck on one side and bend forward optimally such that the water that has entered one nostril will flow out from the other nostril. Breathe through the mouth all the while, else water enters the throat. Repeat for the other nostril as well. Now stand up, bend forward, and blow your nose as shown to take out all the cough and water from the nose. Now look to the left, close the right nostril, and blow your left nostril. Now repeat on the other side. Jalaneti is always followed by Kapalbhati. End the Jalaneti with Anulom Vilom Pranayama. Try and do saltwater gargling along with Jalaneti, but do it before Kapalbhati and Anulom Vilom Pranayama.
Research has proven that those with adequate vitamin D levels have been immune to many diseases and disorders. Sun is the ultimate source of energy on this planet. Hence, it is very important to get adequate doses of adequate levels of sunlight every day. One tactic that has worked for me is that I have been sitting in sunlight and doing my work, especially in the current times of pandemic, as we have been working from home. So I have been sitting in those areas of my house which get adequate sunlight. For example, I try and have one of my meals sitting in a balcony which gets abundant sunlight, and I have often taken my calls or done a few other activities sitting in those areas of the house which get adequate sunlight. By doing this, I have been doing my work and at the same time getting adequate vitamin D in the process. It is in this context that I would like to appeal to corporate leaders to consider redesigning offices. To start with, can we let employees have an option of sitting down and working? It may be a strange sight to start with, but it has immense benefits and may gain wide acceptance. As you may be aware, sitting at the table on a chair is linked to a lot of health issues. Sitting down is very good for spine and also enhances concentration. This is how I have been working for past few months, and it has worked very well. In the recent months, this is how I have been working. For example, now I am sitting in Siddhasana, okay, and this is the laptop desk that I have. So it's very convenient to work like this. This is how one can do this, and I've been taking calls sitting in this asana, or I can even sit in Sukhasana. Okay. I have even been taking calls, video calls or audio calls sitting in Vajrasana or Virasana. It's extremely convenient to work like this as well. This is Virasana. It's quite simple to sit and work like this and even take calls. And even if one has to change the position, one can sit in this position as well, whereby it's far more relaxed, and if one wants to work like this, it's quite easy to work like this as well. And and especially if there is back support, one can take the support of a wall behind and work. It's extremely convenient. So there are immense benefits of sitting and working like this as compared to sitting on chair and while modern offices are elegant and have a lot of amenities, however, adequate sunlight doesn't enter most of the offices. You may consider earmarking some areas of offices on each floor that receive adequate sunlight. Employees can take some of their calls from such areas or can sit and have their snacks there. Another point to ponder is about whether we can enable at least some part of commercial buildings where there is natural air instead of AC. My appeal to youngsters is regarding their food and lifestyle habits. You youngsters may consider avoiding as far as possible maida, sugar, palm oil based products and fried food. Noodles may take only 2 minutes to cook, but it takes a lot longer to repair the damage that it causes to your digestive system. Pizza may be advertised as a healthy food with a lot of vegetable toppings, but if the pizza base is made from maida, it damages your digestive system badly. If you order the food on app or eat out instead of eating home cooked food, you have no control on the ingredients and hygiene aspects. Please keep a watch on how frequently you are eating non-home cooked food. Sleeping late frequently is another widely practiced bad habit, especially in college hostels. If you are doing that regularly, you may pay a hefty price later in life. Effects will start showing when you reach 30s and 40s. It's never easy to balance health with other demands of life. However, the beauty is that small steps can lead to big outcomes. Let us take those small steps together. I wish you healthy days ahead. For those of you who are interested to go deeper into yoga, this is one of the best books, which is Light on Yoga by DKS Iyengar. The beauty of this book is that it demonstrates each of the asanas in great detail, and also it has specific sequences for various health issues that one may be facing. So as I had mentioned earlier in the video, if one has any specific health issues, then one can follow a set of asanas for 15 or 20 minutes each day so that those issues get addressed. The next book that is highly recommended is a book called Anatomy and Physiology of Yogic Practices by M.M. Gore. This is again a great book which explains the concepts behind asanas in great detail.